Jaden Rashada, the name that I kind of sometimes wish would go away at this point, is back in the news with the University of Florida. So there was a dismissal hearing that took place in the state of Florida that was denied. There was something part of this that was thrown out. The conspiracy to commit fraud and divulge on the state of Florida and of Billy Napier was thrown out. The civil case of them not paying him when he came in is still on. Joe, I was telling you, we were talking about this pre-show, a dismissal. Basically, you got to prove that you have enough probable cause or that you have enough sustainable evidence to move to trial. That means this decision today comes down that Jaden Rashada's team was able to prove that they needed to go to trial. I do think that that's a big deal here, and yet here we go in another feed in this. I'm starting to get a little sick of this now.
I don't think this is the end of this either. And look, we're not projecting what's going to happen here. This is all still alleged. We're moving on to the court case. I'm not a legal expert. We're not going to pretend to be. But one of the things that caught my attention, and as I was reading up on this, one of the quotes, once Jaden committed to UF, rather than make Jaden rich as promised, these people with Hancock leading the charge changed their tune and went back on their word. The amount of UF-affiliated NIL money available for Jaden decreased drastically. The lawsuit claims that Napier was promised a $1 million partial payment to Rashada's father when the quarterback prospect signed his national letter of intent, but that the payment was never received. The whole premise of this was that I didn't fully understand what the argument was by Rashada's side and his lawyers. I just thought that they maybe duped him and then suddenly the money wasn't there or it wasn't the full amount. But it seems like what is being described, he did. Well, actually, I don't know. Never mind. I don't want to speak to that confidently. But what was described in these articles was that they told him that $13+ million was what he was going to be given compared to the $9 million that he agreed to from the University of Miami in order to get him to flip. They dragged him out. They made the process go as long as possible. By the time that there were no options on the table for him, that money was suddenly gone. Or it was at a completely more decreased, smaller rate. If that's true, that's pretty nefarious. I mean, that is really messed up. I would think, again, not a legal expert, that they would try to settle this, because if you've got something like this over your head, that you're rug pulling on recruits, that you're promising them the world and an insane amount of money that most guys can't even dream of, and then completely taking it away from them in order to just get them to commit, that is not going to work well on Billy's track record, nor will it work well on Florida's.
It's so wild because they literally turned right around and got DJ Lagway.
That was before the lawsuit, though. Because they actually paid
before the lawsuit, but it wasn't before all the shit went down. I mean, the shit went down, and then they were able in that process to get DJ. Can I be a little blunt? I mean, can we call it like it is, or do we have to pussyfoot around this situation?
I think you can call it like it is, but I think we just got to be
okay. I'm going to call it that
nothing's proven yet.
Well, okay. Here's an opinion. This is all alleged. I have no idea who is and isn't guilty. How about this? I'm starting to think that the kid might be a little bit of a head case, and the people in his camp might be a little bit of a head case. Joe, everywhere he's gone, there have been issues, and he's left.
Well, wait, okay, but hold on here. Arizona State, he leaves. We don't know the reason, but they were a complete shit show mess, and we didn't think anything of it. We thought that oh, look, he's going to Georgia.
They made
he's
a playoff without him.
He's jumping. I don't know if he was. Well, they weren't. They were awful that first year, so the jump was unrelated. I think that was unrelated to him, and I think that him going to Georgia, we all kind of looked at that as he went to his best option in Arizona State, and then he transferred to the better situation where he could eventually start. And I think he stepped in, and then Puglisi shined, and then it became pretty clear that he wasn't going to beat out Puglisi. And then now he's looking for something else, and now nobody wants to touch him because of all of this. So I see what you're saying. I just don't I don't think it's totally fair to make that assumption.
Every time, let me ask you this question. If the kid was talented, and I'm not saying that he's not, and he left Georgia, then why is his only offers like Tulane, whose quarterback just got arrested? And then Mensah goes to Duke. So they need a quarterback. You want me to tell you why? Because nobody wants to touch him.
My thought process.
You know what he is? He's Malachi Nelson without the lawsuit or with the lawsuit.
No, because Malachi Nelson didn't get on the field at USC, and there was a reason for that. Jaden Rashada played at Arizona State in spurts
Because there was nobody.
I believe he got banged up.
Job.
But he showed some really promising throws and some really promising film. Like, he's a lot better than Malachi Nelson. But I would argue that nobody wants to touch. No Power 4 teams want to touch him right now because they don't want to get involved with this lawsuit. They don't want to get involved with the lawsuit. I don't think it has anything to do with him.
I don't think they want to get involved with the kid. They get involved in the lawsuit. What has the lawsuit got to do with them? Their school has nothing to do with that.
I think they just don't want the negative attention that it's going to bring.
Well, I don't think that teams necessarily want to touch him either because, Joe, he might not be good. Like, we don't think about that.
I don't want to make that. He played, though. We saw him do things that most true freshmen can't do, make throws that most true freshmen can't do. He didn't light the world on fire. He had 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. But for a true freshman to step in on with an awful roster, I think he showed some good things. No, that was in the Pac-12 at the time. He was in the Pac-12.
No, I mean, Pac-12 had 2 teams. Everybody else was dog shit.
No. When he was in the Pac-12, that was the historic year
that was Washington and Oregon.
Yes.
Name another that was worth a shit.
UCLA.
UCLA, they went 8-4.
They still finished the year. That was like one of the best years that the Pac-12 had for ranked teams.
You're right. Look, the kid might have gotten duped, and I'm not saying he didn't. He's just starting to become a little bit fishy to me. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. I totally get that.
All right. We'll see y'all again on